My biggest fear of this challenge is reaching the end and you not being in full possession of the facts. So, in this episode, I'm going to share the full facts with you.
The secret to happiness is finding something you love and then doing that for the rest of your life.
Hey, welcome to Veda Video Every Day in April with me, CK. Every day this month, I'm writing, producing, releasing and distributing a different show. So, where to begin? I've got Sunday syndrome. I've just eaten, and usually I'd just be chilling out, but I've got to talk to you people. I want to share with you a text message that I exchanged with a friend. Well, I call him a friend, but I'm not sure that he is. I'll get onto that in a minute. And the reply I sent him, looking back on it, perfectly captures how I felt for the last 22 days during this Veda challenge. And I wish to share that with you because if this adventure, I suppose, is going to work, then I don't want you to get to the end of it and think it's been dandelions and reindeer, because why would it be reindeer? Because it really hasn't.
That's right.
I'm going to share his message in a bit, but first, this is an Instagram comment I received from a UK singer-songwriter called Natalie Lucy. She says, "I've been watching your vlogs. You must be exhausted. I don't know how you do it. I struggle to do a video once a week, never mind daily. Hope it has a huge impact for you." To which I replied, "It has been more demanding than I could have ever anticipated." To which Natalie replied, "I can only imagine, but well worth pushing ourselves to see what we can do." That reminded me of something I saw on YouTube the same week. There's a singer-songwriter who, we're going back many, many years now, like over 10 years. It was one of the first live music events that I hosted. She was on a mini UK tour and I was hosting each one of her dates. And she's called Philippa Hanna. I've not seen her in probably well over 10 years, and she just landed on my YouTube feed and she's doing a challenge where she's releasing, get this, she's releasing a video like this, not every day for a month, every day for the year. I don't even know how she's doing it, but every day this year she's releasing a blog, and the actual quality of them is spectacular. I don't know how she's doing it. I've got no idea. I'm assuming she's not doing what I'm doing and actually recording and editing and releasing them the same day. I'm guessing she's kind of stocking them up, but regardless, it's still a monumental feat. And there was one particular episode where she said something that really, really, really resonates with me, and I want to share that with you now. This is Philippa Hanna, singer-songwriter from Sheffield, UK.
Einstein famously said, and I quote, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. Me in a science class is a fish trying to climb a tree. It just doesn't come naturally to me, but put me behind a guitar in front of some people and I am a fish in water. I definitely have my moments where I feel like this is it, I'm in my lane, I'm doing what I was born to do. And when we do that, our self-esteem just skyrockets."
When you're doing what you were born to do, your self-esteem just skyrockets. I posted something on Instagram about 2 months ago. I had like it was another one of my Instagram rants. Okay, I'm going to confess something to you now, and this is probably going to seem quite trivial to you, and actually, in the greater scheme of things, it is quite trivial, but it doesn't stop it pissing me off. One of my least favourite things in the world is when people introduce me as a photographer. The reasons it bugs me are numerous. I don't want to share them all now because it'll probably offend a few people, but for the most part, photographers are quite dorky, and I don't necessarily want to be put in that dorky bracket. But, like, photography is something I just accidentally realised I could do very well. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's something that I've been doing for like 2.5 years, I suppose, and it's just not something I've ever struggled to do, and it's just something that, yes, I do, and people commission me and pay me to do it, but it's not really a difficult task for me. It's not necessarily something that I want to spend the rest of my life doing. In contrast, writing, producing and doing this on whatever format, whether it's online TV, whether it's my own stuff, this is spanning over 10 years and there's nothing I do that makes me feel this alive. Like, it doesn't even come close. This is the only thing I've ever done as well that I've never got bored of. Like, photography just kind of, Sometimes I love it, sometimes I get bored. Never got bored of writing and this. So when people introduce me as a photographer, I kind of just feel you're missing the point. But I get why they do it, because that I kind of became known for photography within certain groups. Yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. This is been a monumental task, but it's been one I've been willing to persevere with, because fundamentally I think this is what I was put here to do. So my friend sent me a text message. In fact, I don't want to call him a friend, because his opening text message, I don't want to call him a friend at all, because according to his opening text message, he didn't even realise I was doing this till like episode 10, so I don't think friend is appropriate. Let's call him no, I don't want to call him acquaintance. He's more than an acquaintance. Okay, let's call him Dickhead. CK, genuinely, I think Veda is the best series of content you've ever done. Engaging, fun, mostly. That's a bit weird. Well-paced, relevant, well-edited. Then he just goes on a little bit. It's not important. To which I replied, I think he must have got me on a low spell, because I just basically told him how I felt about the whole damn thing. This was my reply to that beautiful bit of generosity from the Dickhead. Yeah, thank you. I'm genuinely proud of it, mostly because I was millimeters from not doing it. In truth, it's been a monumental creative roller coaster. At times, I've really resented the time investment it's required, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done as a creator. Infinitely harder than 100 musicians. No lie, loads harder. So for those of you that discovered me through this Veda challenge, I know there's a few of you that weren't aware of me before this, and to be fair, after it you'll probably fuck off as well. 3 years ago I did a challenge which seemingly would be much bigger than this one, where I went down to London. I wasn't living there at the time. I took my camera, £100, a bag of clothes, that was it. My challenge was to find 100 emerging unsigned singer-songwriters in London that needed new promotional photos for their CD covers, album covers, gig posters, websites, etc. The hook was they paid me whatever they wanted for the photo shoot. There was no ticket price. My challenge was to get from 0 musicians to 100 before my money ran out. So it was basically me living in hostels, eating shit, cheapy, reduced priced food for 6 months. I expected it to be done in a month, but it turns out I was in London doing this for 6 months, and it went remarkably well. Like it was featured on national TV, radio, press, Red Bull, blah, blah, blah. This, Veda, harder. Easily, much harder. And that might come as a bit of a shock to you. How is it even harder? I don't understand. But 100 musicians wasn't a daily thing. Like, if I didn't want to talk to your ass on one day, fine, I just didn't put a video up. It's as simple as that. And there were certain days like that. Equally, I had the liberty of just going into hiding for a day if I wanted to. I ain't got that liberty here. Like, I have to turn up, write, and deliver something mildly engaging. This will be done in 8 days, after 30 days, but compared to the 6 months I did during 100 musicians, this just is so much harder. So much harder. And, I mean, think about it. 100 musicians, I'd do a photo shoot for maybe 2 hours, then I'd have the rest of the day to just toss it off. Like, this is basically, I don't know, like a quarter of a day's work. And as I mentioned in that message, there's been times when I've just resented the time investment when I've got work and shit to do. But going back to Philippa's comment,
this is it, I'm in my lane, I'm doing what I was born to do. And when we do that, our self-esteem just skyrockets.
Like, you know the comments you've been sending me for the last 22 days? The generosity of your comments has been incredible, and this is where my self-esteem is wrapped up in. Like, my self-esteem isn't wrapped up in the photography, it's this. This is what I adore. I don't know if I said anything else interesting in that text message. What else did I say? Yes, the response has been singularly the one thing that has pulled me through, which is unusual because usually I create content for my own self-indulgent ass. But with this, the interaction with humans watching has been colossal. I feel it's been a team effort, frankly. 100%. Like, you guys with your comments and your interactions and the constant sharing, that is why I feel I want to turn up. I was going to say obliged, but I don't feel obliged. I want to turn up every single day and produce something mildly interesting. And that's purely and simply because of your interaction, which has been colossal. So thank you. The final thing I'll say is, do you remember 2 episodes ago, I mentioned there was a guy living in Brooklyn and he loved the social experiment I did during this challenge where I took to the streets of London and told random strangers that I love them. And he was like, I was considering doing it. Then I remembered I live in... Where does he live again? He doesn't live in Brooklyn. Baltimore. You see, the beauty of video editing is I was actually literally 5 minutes away trying to figure that out, but to you it was like a couple of seconds. Did you enjoy the top of my head? So Jay from Baltimore loved the idea. He thought, I can't do it. So then I said, give it a go. Maybe Baltimore needs your love more than anywhere else. And all of a sudden, Jay sent me this.
What's up, CK? Jay Lippman here. I just wanted to shoot you a quick video because I cannot stop thinking about that video you made where you went through the streets of London and told everybody that you love them. And when you asked people if they would do the same thing where they lived, I was a little unsure at first. And I even commented on a video of yours where I said that I was a little bit skeptical because of where I live. You responded, you called me out, you inspired me, so I am here to throw my hat in the ring and tell you that I am planning a short film where I'm gonna take to the streets of Baltimore and spread the love. I'm already planning out the shots. I need a couple people to collaborate with on this, so if you know anybody in Baltimore, send them my way. CK, thank you for doing this. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for all that you do. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Let's put this into perspective. There's a guy living in Baltimore, which he himself notes is constantly on the top 10 cities for the most murders in the world, and he's going to take to the streets and tell random strangers that he loves them. Now, if he does do this, Jay, if you do this, and the interactions with people on the streets of Baltimore is warm, generous, and basically the complete opposite of what we would expect it to be, my mind will be blown, and I will just be on cloud nine. It will just be the most... to think I was part of that journey as well will be beyond spectacular. Seriously, I hope you do this because it will be incredible. And if the interactions are positive, warm, generous, I will be just joyed. I'll be ecstatic. Equally, if it's not as we would hope, and worst case scenario, violence breaks out and Jay ends up in hospital, then listen, I will be the first guy to pretend I've never heard of him.